So I've been thinking a lot about achievement and evolution, and I think that this principle within itself will help a lot of people in transcending suffering. I believe that suffering stems from the desire to achieve, the desire to succeed, and a lot of people have this relationship with ambition that leads them to be chained to external validation, and also chained to effects rather than causes, chained to circumstances rather than their mind. You know, being chained to conditions, and basically being very much in this space where their inner being is very largely dictated by their conditions. And so this is where I've been reflecting on this for a while, because I came back to YouTube, and I've been posting, and I had these moments of inspiration where I was posting daily, and I did it, and it was great. It was a beautiful thing. But now, as that has happened, it's almost like I have adjusted. I have adjusted, and I'm still moving through my life, and I'm still progressing. But now it's at a much more calmer state. It's almost, I want to say that I've integrated that aspect of myself within my life, that aspect of wanting to create content. Now that has become an identity. And so through this journey, I want to share a lesson that I think will serve a lot of people. Whether you are a creative, somebody that loves to do art, somebody that has to put themselves out into the world and basically be themselves, and that's everybody. Everybody, this applies to everybody. And this is why, and the reason why I think that it is a solution to suffering is because those who are attached to survival, to external validation, and to status, those three things which really pertain to the lower three chakras, those who are attached to these things can understand how to transcend these things and not have to be attached to them anymore, not be chained by them. So the idea that has come to me is twofold. I would say that the first one would be service, and the second would be evolution. So service is heart-centered, and evolution is consciousness-centered. So to seek service over achievement is the first thing. For example, when we think about how are we going to make money, how can I make money from my business, how can I make money from my art, etc., people a lot of times are going to be thinking about, really they short circuit their path to their best expression and also the best service. You make the most money when you serve people in the highest manner, the best way possible. So it's natural, right? I mean, people always talk about you make the most money by creating the best product, or Alex Ramosi talks a lot about just creating the best product, the best offer, and really delivering on that, really grinding and making sure that you are almost exceeding the customer's expectations. And so I believe that is inherent, is somewhat of a truth, but I believe that it needs to be much more deeply explored. I believe that there's a much deeper aspect to it. The idea of service within itself is a soul-centered aspect, versus the idea of achievement is much personality-centered aspect. So when we're talking about the personality, it is very much dependent on the acceptance of the outside world, on survival, on getting through, on external validation, and of course, very dependent on status. So the point that I'm saying is, for example, my life has now flipped completely into this. It's almost like I've started once again. It's a new cycle, and I understand that it's about service. So I'm looking to basically make every single hour of my day about serving people, versus about achieving. Because if it was about achieving, I would look to post the most content. I would look to see if I can make the most money, to make my content look the best. Or for example, my job, I would look to make the most money, because that's achievement, right? Like that means that I'm achieving. I'm I'm gaining money, and I'm successful. So the difference then, I will explain this, is then service. What is the difference between achievement and service? Well, service then becomes it becomes a matter of not how can I make the most money, is how can I serve people the best, right? Or it doesn't become about how how can I get the most views? It becomes more so how can I serve the people that come to see me the best. So it's not about quantity, it becomes about quality. And so the person who is mostly centered on service is also the person who understands that as they, well, this is also connected to evolution, but as they open their heart up and they evolve, then they themselves become a mechanism for transformation anywhere they go. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't even become a matter of conditions. Like then, the circumstance, it doesn't have to be tied solely to the your craft. So if you're an artist, you don't have to just be within that hour or 2 hours or whatever, however many amount of hours that you dedicate to your craft. That's not the only place for you to express yourself freely. Then, if you're about service, you look to serve people outside of that space. So if you have a day job, for example, you seek to serve people in the highest manner at your day job also. And so this kind of is a very interesting dynamic where it's like, yes, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. And so I've been looking not so much to compress reality to this one idea of success, but rather look at what I've found, which is this fulfillment that comes from serving people and giving from love. That fulfillment that I have, I'm now seeking to stretch it out and have it be embodied everywhere. And so right now, for example, like my job, I quit my previous job and I got a new job, and now I'm working with my ex manager, who I'm also coaching, I'm mentoring. And so that relationship within itself is a beautiful display of kind of what happens when you are open and receptive to people. But now this is leading to a very interesting dynamic where I don't really care to make the most money in the restaurant. Like the money the money that the servers make in that restaurant is good money. Like probably 400 to 500 bucks a night, maybe a little less. But that's more money than I've ever seen in my life in terms of being a server. So I mean, I know that that's there in the books, but I'm not seeking to make the most money. I'm really seeking to just to observe the environment, get to know the people, and really understand the culture, and really be able to get to a place where I love what I'm doing. So I'm even open to a management position, like because I know that will challenge me to develop my skills in management and also just human relations, and then that will also just allow me to grow. And it's something that I always look for. So that also then becomes an opportunity for me to become a better server to the world. Because as I learn to manage, I also learn to connect with people, become an authority, understand what it means to be an authority, to lead people, to be a leader. And so that within itself is transformational, very powerful. And so now I don't see my job as a source for achievement. That doesn't matter to me. I see it as a source now of fulfillment, a source, an arena for me to evolve as a server to the world. And so and so how can this help the person who is struggling with money, struggling with making their shit work, right? Like making their artwork, etc. Well, I would say it's maybe the reason you're struggling with money is because you're looking at the wrong thing. Maybe you want to escape your reality by entering this other reality, but understand that um, but understand that your capacity to love is always going your capacity to serve is always going to be determined by your capacity to love, and your capacity to love is going to be determined by how willing you are to transcend the conditions and circumstances that you find yourself in. So there should be no excuse for you your life is an art. And so if you're an artist or you're a content creator, etc., um, what's at the basis of a content creator? It's a person who helps people connect. He's an educator. He's a teacher. He's inspiring. And what's the essence of an artist is a person who makes connections, a person who bridges worlds together, who expresses himself creatively. And so those components, those essences, the things that draw you towards that specific discipline, those things can be then transferred over to other areas of your life, whether it be in relationships, whether it be at work, whether it be in other hobbies, etc. So that is the difference, right? It becomes flipped, and so it works, right? But I think this really comes down to you really challenging yourself and saying, is it really money that I need, or could it be that I'm just setting this barrier that is limiting my art. And what if your art is, what would it look like for your art to be your life? And then, what would it look like for you as a content creator? What if you weren't just a creator in when it came to content, but you were a creator of your life, right? So these questions are the ones that really have challenged me to slow down first off, and have allowed me to create a better relationship with my wife, and also just a better relationship with money, and also a better relationship with work. Because now I just don't derive fulfillment from money. I derive fulfillment from relationships, from growth, from learning. And so there's that. Right now, let's go into the idea of evolution. We're already 10 minutes in, so maybe I'll be able to get through this a little faster. But evolution, seek evolution over achievement. And so so evolution has, I believe, more to do with the mental aspect, consciousness. So as you evolve, you're able to see the depths of what's going on. Evolution is basically the capacity for an individual's consciousness to stretch and understand. So the greater your ability to stretch, the greater your ability to understand, and the greater your ability to see the connections between things, human beings, etc., the universe, and also your connection with the universe. So I believe that when I seek evolution, evolution is a different thing than achievement, right? Because inherently they're similar, right? And some people like to say that, like we like to put an egotistic approach to evolution where we are the most evolved human beings, for example, and we're better than animals. But I think that when you see it in the eyes of achievement, you're really limiting yourself, because when you see evolution more so as a path, as an expansion of consciousness, as a mental aspect rather than some exterior world aspect, you get to see that it really becomes about internal growth. Really, evolution is about the internal expansion of the individual, while achievement is more so the external expansion of the individual, right? And so when I seek evolution, that means that when it comes to my craft, for example, like especially with content creation, it has led me, when I focus on evolution, it has led me to not push um, for achievement. So like people have their model, people have their way of doing things, and that those things are successful. But if I really want to evolve the space, if I really want to evolve the way that I do business and the way that other people do business, then I have to give myself that grace, that time to find the gaps, fill the gaps, and bring something new forward. Right? Maybe so there's something here that people aren't seeing, and I know that I have that capacity to understand that. We're shifting the way that we do business now. I think the last 50 years have been a great example of that. We are moving from the industrial age, obviously, now to the information age, which is really going to be changing things. We're going to be moving from physical more so to the digital landscape, and that will allow us to really connect at a level that we haven't been able to in the past. But aside from that, what I'm saying is that evolution is different than achievement. When the personality-centered achievement, and I really think about this as Capricorn, right? So the sign of Capricorn is a sign of achievement. The people who are influenced by Capricorn are very much influenced by the desire to succeed, for success, hardworking, grinding. Very materially oriented. It is an Earth sign also. But when we look at Capricorn from the soul-centered perspective, which is the higher octave of that, it really comes down to initiation. Climbing and getting to the peak and understanding the plan, the larger plan, God's plan, the soul's plan. And so when I'm talking about evolution over achievement, then my life becomes the mountain that I'm climbing. I am progressing on the path, and so that is much more relevant than the external. And this isn't me completely disregarding what's going on. You have to understand that spiritual is just as much as material. The spiritual is just as important as the physical, and vice versa. So I have my job. I'm paying my bills. I'm planning with my wife. We're building our life together with our son. But I also have my business, and I'm working to develop my business and grow my business. and also develop my craft and grow as a creator. So in none of this am I speaking about you completely cutting off the physical world. What I'm saying is you're transcending and including with it. You're transcending and including. So that means that yes, achievement is important, but it is not the only factor to be guided by. In fact, it becomes a subcomponent of a much larger component, which has to do with internal growth, initiation. What I recognize that as I evolve internally, my external world shifts, and so that means that um, going back to the point of suffering, for example, I don't suffer when I don't succeed. I don't suffer when I don't get the views that I want. I don't suffer when I don't get the reception that I want. Because at the end of the day, if at the end of the day I'm seeking internal growth, and it's only the true, I believe the true master can take any condition and make it a positive, or can make it something that transforms him. So even when I don't get those views, or those very important signs or indicators of success, I know that I'm still growing. I'm still challenging myself. I'm still challenging myself every day. So naturally, it only takes time till I see the numbers. And so I want to get to the point where I where where I see the numbers and I'm succeeding, but I'm still not being driven by that emotionally, especially. And so this is where people suffer a lot. This is where a lot of suffering comes from. It's from our desire to grow externally and to triumph in the physical world, in the personality world, and being so attached to it, rather than focusing on our internal growth. When we focus on the internal, we can really derive a lot of peace, a lot of fulfillment, and that is because it is within our control. Because we take on full responsibility for our life. You are constantly challenging yourself and asking why and how can this situation help me, and how can this situation serve my evolution, right? So now I was talking about service, right, which is a very much outwardly oriented approach, but evolution, I believe, would be a much more inwardly oriented approach, where you're constantly thinking about self development and self transformation. So yeah, I think that those are the 2 points that have been helping me out a lot. So very simply stated, this has helped me a lot with just building my business, with not being derailed. Right now, also I've gotten to a place where I'm very happy that with my content, I'm very certain with my capacity to create and influence people, and also succeed. And so that my certainty has now led me to slow down and really approach my business in the right way. So really get to a place where I can um, know that my intentions are aligned with my soul, that my intentions are aligned with the right things, and I'm doing things in a very ethical way. And also, at the leading edge of our evolution, I'm constantly asking myself, what new things can I bring into this world, and what new things can transform this world for the better. So, I have now become like a platform for evolution, and I really enjoy that. And and the lessons that I'm deriving from that, I believe, are very, very valuable for myself and for those who listen to me. Okay, so that is it. That's it for the video. Hopefully that was helpful, and I appreciate you tuning in. You know, it's your boy. Stay lucid. Peace.